Alright guys, we're back today, and today we're going to be talking about contract extensions that players in the NFL have signed. And we have not made an NFL video in forever. It is not just going to be about contracts, it's going to be about how I feel teams are going to do next year, what they've did to get better. But anyway, so we're going to start out with contract extensions. This video might be a little bit long, but so we're going to start off with the quarterbacks. The highest extension that has been made is Trevor Lawrence with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he is up there now, tied with Joe Burrow for highest contract in the NFL right now. Him and Joe Burrow are up there. Next up is Jordan Love. There's 3 players tied in second for the highest contract signed this offseason. So it's Jordan Love to the Green Bay Packers. Next up is Tua Tagovailoa for the Miami Dolphins. Next up is Jared Goff for the Detroit Lions. So I think that is kind of interesting because you have him. They drafted Anthony Richardson last year hoping that he would be able to come in and play quarterback, and then Jared Goff does great. And now you have 2 really good quarterbacks competing for the same position. Like, who's going to... I think Jared Goff will end up getting it because he signed this contract and he took them into 2 games into the playoffs last year, which was really good. The first playoff game the Lions had won in like 30-something years, and so I think that he will have that that position definitely. Next up is Baker Mayfield, the 5th on this list for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker was good last year. He led that team to a decent season. I wouldn't say a great season, but a decent season. And he deserved that contract extension. Next up is Brandon Allen for the San Francisco 49ers. Just come in to play backup quarterback. Yeah, it's a very small contract, $2 million. So there you go. Next up, let's go to the running backs. So Ramon Stevenson signed the highest one to be the running back for the Patriots this next season. He is not a bad running back. Joe Mixon signed a contract extensions with the Houston Texans, and so he left the Bengals. I'm pretty sure they did a sign and trade with him, and now he's going to be playing on the Texans with C.J. Stroud and that young core that will be really good. That team has got better. They got Joe Mixon. They got, oh my gosh. Well, I just went brain dead. Stephon Diggs. They got Stephon Diggs. And they're looking really great on offense. Their defense is good too with Will Anderson, second-year player coming in next year and being good for them. So next up is Christian McCaffrey, who deserves to be on the top of this list because he's been the best running back in the NFL for 2 years, but signed a contract extension with the San Francisco 49ers. Then next up is Raheem Mostert with the Miami Heat. They have him. They have Achane, who can come in. And so they got 2 good running backs that can play for them. Next up, let's move on to the wide receivers. Actually, let's talk about some things that have happened at running back. So, Saquon Barkley is now with the Eagles, and so that is big. I'm pretty sure Josh Jacobs is now with the Green Bay Packers. I'm pretty sure about that one. Yeah, Josh Jacobs with the Green Bay Packers. I wanted to make sure I wasn't telling you guys false information there. See here, if this thing would let me click, then we could move on to fullbacks. And nothing happened at fullback. Fullback's basically running back. So, all right, next up. This is a very long list. We're going to stop. Okay, we're going to stop it at Mike Evans at the number 9 one. Just because he is the last good player on this list. All right, so number 1, the highest paid wide receiver contract now is Justin Jefferson. He signed another contract extension this offseason with the Minnesota Vikings. Next up, tied in first with Justin Jefferson is Amon-Ra St. Brown. with the Detroit Lions. Played great last year next to Jared Goff. They deserved to get paid. Next up is A.J. Brown with the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia. You can tell I haven't been making many football videos lately. Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia Eagles. Tied third with him is Jalen Waddle with the Miami Dolphins. I just about said Miami Heat. Miami Dolphins. He is a good wide receiver too. Tyreek Hill, and he can come in there, and if Tyreek is getting double teamed or they figured out a defense for him, then they can throw the ball to Jalen Waddle, or they can give it to Rasheem Mostert or Avachan, whatever his name is. And so, yeah. So, next up is Devontae Smith from the Philadelphia Eagles. He is a good wide receiver, too, to A.J. Brown. We just talked about they're tied with basically the same contract. Well, Devontae Smith is a little bit small. I don't know why they're tied. Next up is Nico Collins with the Houston Texans. And the Texans, like I've said, I've already explained their team to you, so yeah. Next up is Michael Pittman Jr. from the Indianapolis Colts. He didn't make much noise last year. He made a little bit the year before, but last year he was kind of calmed down and didn't do much. Next up is Jerry Jeudy with the Cleveland Browns. And he was a good wide receiver. He has gotten older. He is 24. I feel like I remember somebody named Jerry Jeudy playing like 20 years ago and being good. But I've heard about Jerry Jeudy. Don't know much about Jerry Jeudy. See, the NFL, the NBA is way easier to cover on because there's maybe 200 players max in the league. NFL, there's probably 500, over 500 definitely. I'd say there's probably there's a lot of players in the NFL. And that makes it hard to cover on the NFL because I do main things that I think happen in basketball. Well, sometimes I think I'll start covering more on the NFL. So like contract extensions, I'll start making videos on that, like shorts. So stay tuned for all of them. But anyway, so Mike Evans tied at number 9 because all of them were tied at number 3 is from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting signed to a contract extension. So him and do this too much. Him and Baker Mayfield were good last year and helped that team out a lot. That's what I was trying to say. Did all of these players sign a contract extension this year? Yeah, I guess they did. All right, so tied at number 1. This is a pretty long list. We'll stop it at Travis Kelce. But anyway, so Dalton Schultz from the Houston Texans signed a contract extension. So they basically extended their whole team. They're going to have this strong offense and a decent defense to play for a while. I think this team will be scary in a few years if they can keep them all together. Next up, tied at number 1, the Buffalo Bills have Dawson Knox, which is he's a good tight end, not a great tight end, but he's a good tight end to take some relief off of Stephon Diggs while he was there. Now it's going to be Gabe Davis if he's still even on that team. But that Bills team is going to struggle this year because they really don't have much. Next up is Hunter Henry with the New England Patriots. They're trying their best to get a good team around we're going to sit here and think again. Drake May. I guess I'll just have to sit here and think if I forget people's names. But anyway, Drake May, they're trying to build a decent team around Drake May. It's not going to be a great team, but they don't want to mess up the same way that they did with Mac Jones. And so, yeah. So, next up is Brock Wright with the Detroit Lions. He is not their starting tight end, I don't think, but they extended him to the tied with the best contract this offseason. And then the Chiefs have Travis Kelce signed on the 5th highest. And everybody knows about Travis Kelce. Even the girls know about Travis Kelce, so I really don't even have to waste time and explain that one. We'll see here. Any big O lineman signs? Landon Dickerson. Oh, this is defensive. Oh, shot. He played on the Bengals last year, didn't he? We lost Landon Dickerson. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure that was, no, that's Henderson, not Dickerson. Okay, my bad. Wrong guy. Yeah, but that's all the big ones I see is Landon, and then Jordan Matella and Landon Dickerson signing contract extensions with the Philadelphia Eagles. We can get used to doing this stuff right here. We got to get used to it. That said, so that was offensive. It said defense for some reason. Anybody big? No, that was just all the offensive linemen, so I really don't need many more. All right, so Chris Jones signed a contract extension with the Kansas City Chiefs, and so he is good. Their star defensive player, definitely. Josh Hines Allen, so that is the old player from Kentucky. He changed his name to Josh Hines Allen this year, and he's probably Kentucky's best defender in history. That is my opinion on him. He's a really good player, 26 years old, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so he is their heart and soul of their defense, and they really needed to re-sign him. Anybody else that's any big signings? Not really. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so that is that right there. Like I was saying, the Philadelphia Eagles signed Saquon Barkley, so that is big for him to be able to run the ball. You got a running quarterback, a running back, two wide receivers that can catch the ball, a decent O-line. They lost their good center last year, but they're still a really good team. Okay. Alright, so we're going to get this right here for you guys real quick. So we're going to do this top 10 thing on CBS Sports, and then that'll wrap this video up. So anyways, they have the Bears acquiring Keenan Allen at number 10, and that is true. They got him and from the Chargers, and he can catch the ball from Caleb Williams. They got him, DJ Moore, and other wide receivers that are going to be pretty good on this team. This team has been built great around Caleb Williams, and I wouldn't be shocked if he kind of has the C.J. Stroud effect when he walks into the NFL. Next up, I sound like Joe Biden. Anyways, at number 9, the Steelers. They got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Right now, Russell Wilson has got hurt, so Justin Fields is running QB1. And so it is going to be interesting to see who ends up starting at that position. But that is a fun quarterback room right there, because if one player is playing bad, then throw another one in and you can win the game with him. Saquon Barkley with the Eagles. The Texans signing Danielle Hunter. Don't know much about him, but he is a defensive player. I would say that he's probably a defensive dog if he's up there that high. And so that is good for them. The Texans are just on something right now, and I feel like they're going all in. So the Texans acquiring Stephon Diggs at number 6. They are looking really good. The Jets getting Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses to play on the line to protect Aaron Rodgers. So hopefully he don't go in there and like first or second play of the game tears ACL again. Last year they were my pick to go really far, and I thought he was going to have a great season. Well, we know what happened. I watched that play where he tore his ACL, and it was just ugly. And so hopefully he can go in this season and be good. He's got the ball to throw to Garrett Wilson. He's got a good defensive, like probably the best defensive corner, him or Jalen Ramsey, in Sauce Gardner. I enjoy making these football videos, guys. I really do. I don't know why I do. Why did I do so much NFL? But I need to do more or why I do so much NBA. I need to do more NFL. I guess it's just so much to cover. The Lions rebuild up their secondary. They got Carlton Davis, a CB, so he is a good defensive player to play in there. The Chiefs got Marquez Brown, so their wide receiver room is him, Xavier Worthy, Rashid Rice. All of them super fast. Xavier Worthy is the fastest to ever run a 40-yard dash. Rashid Rice can go 118 miles an hour in his car and then wreck it. And then Marquez Brown, I'm sure that he's pretty fast. I've heard a little bit about him. Oh, yeah, that's Hollywood Brown. Okay. Yeah, so he is a good player. Very good player. Oh, yeah, I didn't even cover on this one. Anyways, so the two teams in the NFL that's got the two best rushing quarterbacks got two of the best running backs now to be in the backfield. So they got a bunch of runners in the backfield. Derrick Henry is signed with the Ravens. And so you have him and Lamar Jackson, who can both run and are great. And then you have Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley in the same backfield. That is two scary backfields right there with good wide receiver rooms and a good defense to go around them and a good O-line. Like, Okay, and this thing has it number 1 overall, but I would either put Saquon or that first one at number 1 overall. The Falcons signed Kirk Cousins. And so I'm not saying that is a huge move because it's Kirk Cousins, for crying out loud. What has he ever did? He's not a bad player by any means. They're a very confusing team, to be honest. They sign him to a big contract, and then they draft Michael Penix Jr. So I'm guessing they're going to try to do the Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers effect, or Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers effect, whichever one you want to do, because the Green Bay Packers in the last 40 years have only had 3 quarterbacks. That is crazy. 3 starting quarterbacks. They went from Brett Favre, drafted Aaron Rodgers. He played under him for a couple years. And then Aaron Rodgers, and then drafted Jordan Love, played under Aaron Rodgers for a few years, and now they just re-signed or gave Jordan Love a contract extension, and it looks like he's going to be the starter for many more years in Green Bay, and it's going to be interesting to see who the next option will be. But anyway, so Kirk Cousins here. It's very confusing why they did it, but I guess that they're going to try to pull that Green Bay Packers. Some teams might end up trying to do that later on. It's a smart thing to move it's a smart move to make as long as you make the move right. If you make it wrong, then it's a very dumb move to make. But it is a good move if you do it right. So that is going to wrap this video up, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this first NFL video in about a year. Thanks for watching, and we will be making more of these.